So, karmic loops, what are they? Why are they keeping you stuck? I'll tell you that in this video. And I'll tell you how to create better karma. And to keep it really simple, right? We plant seeds into the world. And this isn't just a spiritual thing, this is actually a science. I'm going to show you in this video how our bodies are training themselves to be a certain way, how the body and the mind will create certain results, which I'm calling karmic loops. And also talk about psychology. So the psychology of 3-year-old Raj, who, he was worried about what people are going to say. He's trying to fit in, getting everything right, not be told off. That showed up everywhere in my life. you know, as an adult, showing up, that karma, that identity, right, is bonded. There's karmic bondage to that psychology, those patterns, those beliefs, those feelings, the way my body was conducting itself, how I would feel around others. So in this video, I'm going to show you about how to break those, destroy that. And I'm also going to show you how to use all of those things that happened in the past that might be haunting you. You might feel like regret, from childhood, maybe from 1 year ago, from past relationship. I'm going to show you how to transform that and how to create new karma, right? A new reality that just means new actions that you can take to create a new reality. So let's start with this. There's a science behind this, guys. This isn't just some spiritual, mystical stuff. It is, in a sense, you might call it that, but all spirituality, from my perspective, the yogic view, is based off an experience. And when an experience is there, there's mind, body, there's an action. It's a science, right? Ask any scientist, they'll get some experiments, they'll run experiments, and they'll learn what's happening. It's science, right? Chemical reactions, that's what's happening in us, that's science, right? So, karmic loops are based on actions, and they become behaviors, they become identities. And you might have seen this in some psychology teachings, in some somatic teachings as well. And to get straight to the point, right, how do we remove these? So, the things that I introduce to people I'm working with is getting into the body. So, the body is holding the blueprint. If, for example, I'm about to speak on a stage, there will always be this version of me that knows how I used to fear that my whole life, right? And maybe you fear that as well. So the body freaks out, it's tensing up, it's saying, I can't do this. It's even convincing the mind saying, oh, you're saying that? Okay, yeah, you're right. It's in a pattern of what it knows. It's like, I need to get out of this. I need to escape. I can't do this, right? It's freaking out. There's a fight or flight response. So that's happening, and that can repeat into avoidance behaviors, right? All the behavioral scientists will talk about this, and many therapists will talk about this, avoidant behaviors. I had many of those with speaking because I was in a loop, right? My life became, and this is where it gets deep, every action that you take is based off this program. Every action I was taking was based around avoiding any difficult social situations because of the social anxiety. So my entire life became that because I'm following the behavior, the fear, avoiding the fear. I'm trying to get myself into a place that's comfortable. I'm building a life based off that. Years are being invested into that belief, that cycle, that fear, whatever we want to call it. And it can be dressed up in very positive thinking and behavior as well, right? Like I want to go this, I want to do this alone because I'm scared that someone's going to interrupt me and annoy me, right? Or challenge me, or I'm going to be scared, I'm uncomfortable, right? So it's a karmic loop. You see, it can create limitation. I know it created limitation in some of my career. I did extremely well, though. That's the funny thing. I was highly functional, did extremely well. I was always the young man in the team who's doing so well, and I still think I'm doing quite well. But there was limitations. There's always limitations because of these loops, these loops, these loops. So destroying these, for me, This is the way I teach it, requires going into the body and the neurological connection. There's a firing and wiring, like Dr. Joe Dispenza will talk about, like everyone will talk about this kind of mind body reaction, right? So we, in the yogic sense now, the way we do this is we do breath practices, we do certain postures and asanas which help cleanse and purify the body. That's the language that we use. Purify. And what that means is when you're doing certain breath practices, specific ones, what they're doing is they bring a lot of life force energy, which pumps up the body, let's just call it, right? Fills it with potency. And then when we are in that place of potency, there's perhaps some kind of guidance of words into memories, into certain things which can be hypnotic, right? If you study any hypnotist, they're using words to guide you somewhere, right? To the past, to break things. But this combined with yogic neuroscience, it is insanely powerful because you're in an altered state. You're more receptive, right? So it doesn't always have to be this one-off thing you do, but for me, it's a everyday purification process to keep the vessel clean, right? To notice any unease and allowing that to release in my body. Because if my body is operating a certain way, then my mind is also worried and it's trying to find solutions to be okay, right? So we might go and analyze all the mind and stuff, but what about the body? Right? The body is the one creating feelings, and it's like the mind is listening, actually, not telling. The mind's listening, saying, oh, no, 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 no. Basically, they're basically one system, to be honest. But let's just use that analogy of the mind is listening and the body's reacting. So then the loop repeats and it says, I know what to do. Let's get out of this by doing this. So there's certain rituals that I would take you through, that I will take people through in certain programs or one-to-one, which will disintegrate the patterns inside. So that's what to do to create this release, right? You have to know the flamethrower. You have to be able to have the flamethrower. And as the Buddha says, go to the root, not all the surface level stuff. You have to go to the deep root inside of us, right? So find that. There's many things out there that you can look for on this. I can also send you something if you're interested. Put something in the comments and just tell me exactly that you'd like to break some kind of belief pattern, and I'll help you out with that. So the next part is, how do we change how we look at things? So I saw myself as a little young man who, I have three older sisters, so I'm weak. I am the the youngest. No one trusts me. They think I'm incapable. All these things, these I am statements, these identities, right? I am this, I am that. And what I had to do, I had to go into deep shamanic journeys, which let's just say are meditative experience where I'm in a different state. I'm able to release from the mind body attachment, um, and I'm able to see deeper inside to that subconscious, how it's operating. And I'm able to see it differently, let's say. So there's many ways to do this. You could go into a meditation, could be guided by someone. There's people that will use plant medicines for this. I've done that myself previously as well. But the best way to do it is to use the yogic neuroscience again. The science of it. Then you don't have to always run and find some place that is outside of you. Right? That's what I'm trying to bring to this. I want to show you. I show people things. I guide them. I take their hand and I say, let's do this. I show them how to do it so they can do it themselves after, right? So going into these memories, these patterns, and stepping out. I remember there's a clear vision I had with my grandfather, who's deceased, um, on a beach where I was seeing these two guys running around chasing each other, literally in a circle. And I was so free and detached from them. You can call it out of body even. that I saw, this is me. This is how I am when I'm like this. This is how I am when someone says this. This is it. This chasing of itself, right? Chasing and creating anxiety, saying, I got to catch you. I got to stop you. This is what it is. I got to stop you. This is who it is. It's not really us. It's a program that we've taken on and it's become so familiar, beyond the behavior. Behavior is one level, but beyond that, it's become an identity. So stepping outside this identity has helped me to see and to release and even to some level cry and grieve that I've been this way to myself, right? And see, wow, like this is how I saw life. How sad. Detached enough to say, this is how I've seen life. How sad. Or this is how this version of me felt. And I've cried, right? This is what you might get from some experiences where you go into some shamanic states or you work with a therapist or whatever. Might be tears from realization, right? As long as this person that you're going to is going to help you to detach from it in a healthy way, right? Not overriding it, but seeing and feeling it from an observer's point of view, because then you can change the story. It's no good for me anyway. It's no good just saying, oh, this happened before, and I'm just going to write down these affirmations to change the story from my logical mind. I've seen a lot of practitioners do it that way. It doesn't work for everyone. Because for me, the body is still in this mind body, me, right? Going into these altered states and detaching, doing what all the yogis and meditators have told us about, and then doing this transformation, story change, whoosh, literally the body will purge. My body's purged physically in these moments. I've dry coughed things out because it's like I've released a demon. And it's not to look at it negatively, but just something, some sludge, right? And it's come out of my stomach and other chakra centers, power centers, as I call it in my book, the power centers. It's come out. So there's many ways to do that. There's something I can send you that will help you to get your body into a calmer state. Drop a comment below and I will paste down a meditation to you, which is about connecting to that inner golden self. And most people say when they get this, they cry. And I laugh, right? I'm laughing. Why am I laughing when people are crying? I'm laughing because the crying is from freedom. And I feel so happy to be able to provide that, right? So that's the next step. Or that's like, let's just say, a part of karmic loops and how to break them and understand them and how to use them, right? The other part is creating new loops, creating new karma. So this is like, let's say you've never spoken on the stage before and you've avoided it. So you decide to go to a public speaking class and you get really uncomfortable. I did this at one point. I was so uncomfortable. In the class, they would say like all these random things to speak about, and I was so edgy, but I did it. And that credited me as, oh, look, I can do it. My body was in the experience, right? My body was feeling that I'm here. So it's not like this mental thing I'm trying to make up and convince myself and change my thoughts by just talking about it to myself. No, actually doing it. Right? So my body gets the feeling of it. And when I get the feeling of it, it's like playing football. Right? You kick a ball, you do it more, then you become a very good footballer, I'm sure. Right? Or anything, musical instrument, same thing. So you create the karma of I'm a musician now. I can play the piano. I can play this to this level, right? It's like a skill. So that is how we break karma as well, right? We create new identities, we can call it. We create new ways of operating. We create a whole new world from that, right? Imagine the results of now I can speak in front of people versus I can't before. Imagine all the doors that was closing, right? Social anxiety. I can't be with anyone, right? And now it's like, oh, I can, even if I'm uncomfortable. Right? So we can create new karma. If you've had money challenges, this is a common one. Fear about spending money, all these money stories that come from somewhere else. Probably your parents, ancestors, probably all sorts of things from life, how certain societies have trained us to think about it. So status, and if you have this much, and you could buy this, and then you could buy this, and then you have this. So it's this program. If you have that, if you want to break that, if you want to change that and become more confident with money, you want to have a healthy mindset around it. I've done a lot of work on this myself, um, and I will continue to do so, I'm sure. But if you want to change this, this is us destroying some of those loops, transforming them, like I said in number two, and then number three is creating new. So all three of these steps, it's a whole embodied experience, right? And it involves the mind. So we're using the mind as a tool that's for us rather than against us. Instead of my mind like overthinking and going into analysis, why don't I use it in alignment with this bodily felt experience to say, ah, actually, I spend on what I really value, and I will follow through, right? So that's me creating new karma. If I follow through with the intuition, because we all know something inside of us, follow through with it, and it creates a real result. Could be really nice to someone one day, and that can change the fabric of life. The butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is here at play, guys. So I'm going to leave it there. If you want some help with creating these new karmic patterns, I have a worksheet with very simple questions for you to ponder upon. Right? There's no right answer. It's a reflective exercise. And I'm sure if you do this, it's going to really help you. So that's all for today. I hope you got some of that information to create transformation, let's call it. Because information alone is not as useful. Information, then you get into your body and you reflect and you write and you go and do something different. That is transformation, right? Not just a mental head game. We got that everywhere, podcasts and articles, etc. Feeling it, really feeling it from a right brain perspective, for me, that's created most opportunities versus me deflecting many things. Anyway, hope that gave you something about karmic loops and changing patterns, being free from patterns. Drop me some comments, tell me what you thought of that, and let me know what you want more of. Right? I'm going to evolve this page and channel and my offerings and everything else. It's always great to see what people want more of. So I'll leave that there. You can also DM me if there's anything specific that you'd like to ask in private, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. For now, if you like the video, hit the like on the video. And if you want to subscribe and share it with others, be my guest, that's welcome. Anyway, namaste. Remember your karma. See how you're creating yourself all the time. See you later.